as well. I think one of the things that has come out of that discussion is what a really complex issue this is. You know, it's not just about employing disabled people, it's about employers having that understanding, that soft bigotry, those low expectations, actually seeing that disabled people as a group are just as diverse as any other group with the same range of talents and skills and experiences and qualifications, and can be just as valuable as anybody else in society. And I recognise it's a complex issue, and I recognise that Even Break only plays a very small part of that large jigsaw. But it's actually a very important part of that jigsaw. We don't personally get involved with helping employers become better employers in terms of employing disabled people. We leave that to people like Equal Approach and the Clear Company and all the other organisations that are out there. We don't personally help disabled people become ready for jobs, because there's A4E and Leonard Cheshire and all of those other places out there that do that. We are that very, very important little bit in the middle that actually helps large organisations like yours that understand that you want a diverse workforce and why you want a diverse workforce to much more easily be able to access that workforce. There are no simple quick fixes to this complex solution, but there is a simple quick fix to attracting more disabled candidates, and that's what Even Break does. I'm not suggesting it's the only answer by any stretch of the imagination. It's not going to solve all of the problems or address all of the issues, but you can very, very quickly, simply and cheaply increase the number of disabled people who apply for your jobs, which just solves that one important part of the jigsaw. You could be the most inclusive employer on the planet. You could have all the reasonable adjustments in the world. You could have very, very well-trained staff. You could be incredibly inclusive. But if disabled candidates don't know that, they won't be applying. So it's a small part of the jigsaw that Even Break plays, but it's actually a very crucial part of getting that little bit, you know, while they don't apply. They will. They just need to know that you are genuine about wanting to employ them. So, you know, I just wanted to address another issue which actually Stephen sort of alluded to, which is sometimes employers have rather odd conversations with me, like, which jobs shall we put on Even Break? I don't know where to begin with that conversation. What job isn't suitable for any disabled person? There are lots of jobs that aren't suitable for lots of people.
Professor of Astrophysics at Cambridge University.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, there isn't a job that no disabled person can do. Lots of
In
jobs.
fact, there's a strong argument for an amputee astronaut.
I'm sure.
If they've got bilateral amputees, that's much cheaper in terms of rocket launch.
There was a conversation on Facebook over the weekend, wasn't there, where somebody said, well, you can't have a blind pilot. And the obvious answer is, well, if you're blind, why would you apply to be a pilot?
Because I'm a disabled pilot,
exactly.
you might not have a blind pilot. So I think for me, the answer to the question to which jobs shall we put on Even Break is all of them. And disabled people are like anybody else in the population. We tend to apply for jobs we think we can do. If I'm blind, I'm not going to go for a job as a taxi driver. I personally am not going to go for a job in the distribution warehouse at Unipark because I can't pick things up and lift them and move things around. I'm only going to apply for those jobs I think I can do. So rather than you having the burden of deciding which jobs shall we try to attract disabled people to, let the candidates make that decision. You know, they will apply for the jobs if they think they can do them. If they can't do them, they won't apply. If they apply and they can't do them, you won't appoint them. You're only ever going to appoint the best person for the job. So, you know, think much more broadly than we tend to. A particular supermarket who isn't here today talked to me about, you know, we don't actually need Even Break because we have a relationship with Remploy and we employ lots and lots of disabled people. But then when you look a little bit closer, they do, in fact, I'm not going to name them, employ lots of disabled people, but they're all unpacking boxes in the back of the store. So what about IT people? What about admin people? What about the buyers? What about the supervisors? What about the directors? You know, why is it just people who can unpack? Well, I'd be useless at unpacking boxes. You know, it's way beyond my capabilities. So I think it's about looking more broadly at, you know, any job that you have that's a vacancy is applicable for the best person for that job. And the best person for that job may or may not be disabled, but that will be their choice whether to apply. So thank you for raising that, because it's an important issue. Well, hopefully by now you're convinced about, you know, the ideas of employing disabled people and why it's a good idea, which you were convinced of long before you came here today, which is why you came here in the first place. hopefully you'll understand that using a specialist job board like Even Break is a very quick and easy way to solve just that one problem. How do we attract more disabled candidates? And certainly many disabled candidates have said to us they apply for jobs on Even Break because they have confidence in the employers that advertise on that site. So just being on that site itself gives it all the right messages across the population. So I suppose my job is to say to you, you know, there are a number of specialist job boards. Even Break isn't the only one. I'm glad it isn't the only one because that proves there's a market for such a thing. I obviously think we're the best. And I'm not going to slag off all the competition because that's a very, very unprofessional thing to do. But what I would just like to close with is telling you why I think Even Break would be a really good partnership for you to make in terms of recruiting disabled people. We are the only not-for-profit specialist job board run by disabled people for disabled people in the UK. We're not here to make a profit, we're not here to make lots of money, we're not here for shareholders' returns. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. But our aims are about helping inclusive employers recruit a more diverse workforce and helping disabled people find employers who will value the skills that they have. So those are our aims, and we can work in partnership with you to do that. Even Break has no gimmicks. When it was first built, and I was a little bit wary about is it really as accessible as the developers claim it is, which is why I didn't believe them and took it to the Centre for the Blind to have it tested. One of our competitors has buttons that talk to you on their site. And I said to my developer, why haven't I got a button that talks to me on Even Break? I want a button that talks to me, it looks really good. And he said, because it's a gimmick. It looks great, it doesn't help people with visual impairment. They will have things like JAWS, they will have their own text readers that we'll use. Even Break has all the stuff, the gubbins at the back that I can't see and don't understand. That means disabled people actually can access it rather than it looking good to people who don't really know much about accessibility. So we have no gimmicks. We're very, very straightforward and easy to use, and we're very, very accessible. We only advertise jobs from employers that we know are genuine about trying to attract more disabled people. We don't import wholesale jobs from other sites to make us look busy and give us lots of jobs on the site, which looks great, but actually is setting people up to fail. If I'm a disabled candidate and I look at a job on Even Break, I want the confidence to know that that employer may not employ me because I might not be the best person for the job, but will take my application seriously and will actually, you know, treat me with some respect. And if I'm just importing jobs from anywhere else, that I have no guarantee that might be the case. So we may have fewer jobs than some of our competitors, but our jobs are real, and they are from employers like yourselves who aren't just ticking boxes but are doing this because they really believe in what it's all about. The wide partnership site I mentioned earlier on, you may well already have relationships with Remploy or with A4E or with any of those other agencies, and that's fantastic, and I suggest you continue with those relationships. But you have such a wider reach with Even Break because we work with all of those agencies. There are about 40, and we work with a whole wide range of disabled people who never use those agencies. I suspect none of us four have ever been on a government programme. So, you know, we don't all come from a welfare to work background. Some of us are just people who happen to be disabled who are looking for jobs. So you have a wide range of candidates from, you know, people who've become disabled as an adult, and 75% of disabled people acquired their disabilities, so they might have all sorts of experience and qualifications that they received before they had to face the prejudices of people against them because they were disabled. So you have an enormous range of people that you'll be able to tap into through Even Break. And, you know, it's very cost effective, it's very easy. I know that sounds like a really horrible sales pitch, and I hate selling, but, you know, for a tiny percentage of what you annually spend on recruitment, you know, with one action you can almost, you know, overnight change the nature of the applications that you're getting, which will over time change the diversity of the workforces that you employ. And the reason you're here today is because you understand that that's got to be a good thing for the organisations that you're recruiting for. So, you know, please do come and talk to me, you know, and we'll keep a relationship going hopefully after today. And we can talk about real ways in which Even Break and your organisations can work in partnership to help you and to help the candidates that are out there. So thank you very, very much for being here this afternoon. There's plenty of drinks. Please, you know, carry on having the conversations before I rudely interrupted you. If you want to ask questions of any of the speakers, I'm sure we're all happy to for you to come up and ask us any questions individually, and you know, I hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's incredible. It's good.
There's a few kind of pausey shots of me kind of doing this, which I thought you could use to as a cutaway or something like that if you need to.
I'm just hoping to get a few people sort of still sat in their seats so I could just sort of